It's mock draft season, and this is a post-Senior Bowl 2-round mock draft. What's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content as always. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse. I want to give a special thanks for just for all the well wishes and the understanding. Sometimes life hits, and it came after my family this week, so I just really do appreciate the understanding, and just looking forward to keep pumping out content in this busy time of the year. It's draft season, goodness gracious. So let's go ahead and get into this. And to keep this simple, I'm not going to do trades. It's 2 rounds, so no trades. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I kind of think the first 4 picks, it doesn't result in a lot. Spoiler, we're gonna see Jalen Carter and Will Anderson go, and we're gonna see 2 quarterbacks go. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this sucker. And we have the Chicago Bears picking first, likely a good trade spot, whether it's the Texans, whether it's the Colts. I imagine the Bears want to keep in the top 4 because, well, they want to land Jalen Carter and Will Anderson. But since I have the pick of who I get here, I'm going to go ahead with Jalen Carter. I think Matt Eberflus wants to build that defensive line from the inside out. That's something we saw in Indianapolis. Granted, I know he wasn't like the head decision maker there, but still pulling from that. And Jalen Carter would just be a phenomenal piece to build your defensive line with. The Houston Texans, they're going to be the first team to take quarterback here. I'm going with my top quarterback, Bryce Young. I get it. If you don't like his size, it kind of is what it is. Either you're going to be a fan of the size and not want and okay with drafting him, or you're not going to be a fan of the size and he's just not going to be on your draft board. So I understand it. Either way, for me, I'm willing to bet that he is the exception. I think he is the best passer of the football in this class. The Arizona Cardinals, no Jalen Carter here, so we're going to go with Will Anderson. I mean, getting a star pass rusher, I think, yeah, okay with that. I think Jalen Carter would be, I would like Jalen Carter here more so than Will Anderson, but I'm not going to shed a tear. Will Anderson's a phenomenal prospect. Those are 2 blue chip prospects. And then the Indianapolis Colts, instead of swinging for the sky with Will Levis, hoping those high end traits work out, I'm going to go with the higher floor player in CJ Stroud. I think he's got a good ceiling in his own right. So we're going to snag him here and quit kicking the can down the road at the quarterback position for the Colts. Now we have the Seattle Seahawks, and I'm just going to go with Myles Murphy. He's a very versatile defensive player. He's exceptionally powerful. He likes to impose his will on opposing blockers, and again, exceptionally versatile. I think he's going to test out exceptionally well, and he won't be just a guy that, oh man, he's just going to be a part of the rotation. No, you could kick him onto the interior of that line, and still, like, you could have 3 pass rushers on the field at any given moment, because they do have like Nwosu, Taylor, and Boye Mafe, who they drafted last season. I'm going to keep with this pick, and I've done it the last few weeks for the Detroit Lions. I like the idea of going corner here. You could do Christian Gonzalez. I'm a big fan of Christian Gonzalez, and I'm just going to continue to keep going with Devon Witherspoon right now, though Gonzalez is my highest rated corner, like just barely. I think I just have him a spot ahead of Witherspoon, so it's really either or. Maybe next week I'll switch back to Gonzalez here, but I think corner is probably the best position to go with for Detroit, though there are other options. All right, we're here with the Las Vegas Raiders. Listen, Josh McDaniels, you were on the hot seat. There were people saying, get the heckles out of here. I don't know what quarterback's going to look like for them next season. Can they land Aaron Rodgers in a trade? I don't think so. Maybe they can bring in a Jimmy Garoppolo, but I think they're in a good position to potentially get a quarterback here, and I think Will Levis would be that guy. I think he's a good fit for Josh McDaniels' scheme. I've seen, Will Levis is a good fit for McDaniels, and I kind of beg to differ. As we saw, especially in the early part of the season for the Raiders, as they kind of adopted more passing concepts from Sean McVay's system, and Will Levis, well, back in 2021, his offensive coordinator was Liam Cohen, who was the OC for the Rams the following year. And coincidentally, now he went back and got the same job. But so I think I don't think there's that big of a disconnect between McDaniel's system or his scheme and Will Levis and his skill set. The Atlanta Falcons, I think they need pass rusher. We're going to go with Tyree Wilson. The dude has produced in college simply just with his length, his skill set. I think he plays with good juice. Some people think he doesn't have an explosive first step, and what it really is you see a lot of him being laid off the snap or maybe some false starts. He just doesn't have that clock in his head where he times the snap correctly all the time. That's something you can work out with him, but he's got extraordinary length, and I don't think he's going to test out nearly as well as Miles Murphy, but I think he's still going to test out good in his own right. He's just kind of a freak in that regard. Now the Carolina Panthers, and this is why I think they probably should trade up, but regardless, we're gonna take the swing at the quarterback position on Anthony Richardson. Listen, this is Frank Wright. He'll get the opportunity to nurture Anthony Richardson. They could bring in maybe a Derek Carr. They can bring back Sam Darnold on a 1-year deal. They could do something in the meantime. And then, I mean, maybe with that, you still get maybe a top 10 pick next year. That might be kind of cool. And you could continue to add talent. But I think Anthony Richardson, with his sheer upside, is worth taking the swing on. I think I just moved him inside my top 15 on my big board. Top 15, top 16, somewhere around there. He's around 15 to 16. But yeah, I'm willing to take the shot there. And then we got the Philadelphia Eagles, and I am some people are like, oh, Eagles would never do this. I don't care. They need cornerback help, and I'm really high on Christian Gonzalez. He's going to test out like a freak. And you got James Bradbury as free agent. Darius Slay is up there in years. They don't really have another guy there that could play the outside. I thought about maybe going defensive line. Like, you could do Lucas Van Ness here. I think that would be fine. That's right, Lucas Van Ness. Going inside the top 20 is not a reach, guys. It's not. A lot of people are mocking him there, higher than top 20. So get off that mindset. He's going to test out well as well. And then I get there's Brian Brazee, but like, again, I'd rather shoot for this and then maybe look at addressing the defensive line with that 31st pick, because this is a class that has a lot of edge talent, and there's good interior talent on day 2. All right, Tennessee tight ends. This one just makes too much sense, so I'm going to jump back to it, and I'm going to take Paris Johnson. Just fill in that void. Taylor Lewan, there we go. I think is likely cap casualty. Dennis Daly sucks, in the nicest way. And Aaron Brewer's not good, so like you want to address that left side of the line, especially if you're gonna continue being the running offense with Derrick Henry. There are rumors that they've been talking to the Bears about moving up to 1. I'll believe it when I see it. The Houston Texans, and I really was thinking about wanting to do something different. So I was thinking maybe we go Joey Porter, maybe we go Lucas Van Ness. Done that a couple times. I'm gonna go back to my Quentin Johnston, and I've noticed Quentin Johnston is like falling like outside the top 20 in a lot of people's mocks, and I just slightly disagree. I do think he's the best receiver in this class. I get the hiccups with some people when it comes to him, that he's not like the most complete route runner just yet. He didn't really attack the catch point that well this season compared to 2021. So I get that, but this is a dude with he's got great size. He absorbs contact well. He's able to create after the catch. He's got good launch speed. He's going to test in the 4.4s. He turns upfield exceptionally quickly. And again, in 2021, he attacked the catch point exceptionally well. So maybe I'm not believing it that he isn't a guy that can high point the football, because we saw it in 2021. So I'm having a tough time getting my head around that. I love the Jets taking Peter Skoronski here. Not going to play with an Aaron Rodgers trade this time around. Pierce Gronsky could fill a lot of voids in that offensive line, whether it be tackle if they don't, Mekhi Becton just can't return to form. It could be guard if they want to move Elijah Vera Tucker out to tackle. It could be center if they don't bring back Connor McGovern. He just has a lot of possibilities for that offensive line that this could end up being potentially the final piece to that. And then we have the New England Patriots, and I'm going to go with the offensive line with Broderick Jones. They got what? They got Isaiah Wynn as a free agent. He ain't coming back anyway. Trent Brown, he was whatever last season, but he is a guy that has struggled with injury concerns his whole career. So let's try to shore up the tackle spot. All right, we have the Green Bay Packers, and this is actually where I'm going to take Lucas Van Ness. Get that other edge rusher. When Rashawn Gary went down, they struggled consistently rushing the passer, and Lucas Van Ness is kind of Rashawn Gary-esque type of prospect. There's a lot of similarities there, especially when it comes to just not fully polished yet, but you could see the overwhelming power he plays with his hands, legit like a grizzly bear. I think Kingsley Enagbari is a good rotation guy there, so they go with them here. Washington Commanders, I know Ron Rivera doesn't draft corners in the first round. Well, maybe he should, and we're going to. And I think Joey Porter is a very good fit for that Jack Del Rio defense. On to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and man, Mike Tomlin had his eyes on the offensive line, and he was taking a look at DeJuan Jones and Darnell Wright and was like, me like you that if it was in Pittsburgh. So we're going to go with offensive tackle, and I'm going to go with Darnell Wright here. I think he was very impressive through the week. He had a few losses, like when it came to like Will McDonald, who was just kind of toasting everybody. But I think he's a bit more put together than DeJuan Jones. Yeah, he doesn't have the freakish like length of DeJuan Jones, but I think he moves a bit better for being a bigger tackle. All right, the Detroit Lions, man, I was thinking, you know what, let's just go ahead, fix the secondary altogether with Brian Branch. And man, it was hard finding where to fit Brian Branch in here exactly. But I ended up saying, you know what, I really like Brian Brazee, man. I really do. Like, we saw the talent his freshman season, and he had the torn ACL, but he put in a good 4 games in his sophomore year. Then this year, it was a bit up and down. It was a bit stop and go. Part of that, he had the kidney infection. Then he had family tragedy when his sister passed away. So, we know he's got elite tools. Maybe, this is just kind of riding on. He puts it all together. I would love to see him next to Aleem McNeil as well. So I was thinking corner here for Tampa Bay Buccaneers because obviously Jamil Dean, free agent. Sean Murphy-Bunting, free agent. They got a quarterback question, but I really don't think Tanner McKee sneaks into the first round whatsoever. I really think he probably will stumble down boards just because of the lack of mobility. Hendon Hooker obviously has the injury, older prospect. So it's like you're not really going to be thinking of quarterback. I think they'll probably make a play for Derek Carr. So I was like, you know what? Let's just go ahead, try to shore up the offensive line, and we're going to do that with Osiris Torrance. I think he could probably go higher than this. I thought he was very impressive at the Senior Bowl. I think he's probably a top 20 prospect. All right, Seattle Seahawks. Oh, Gojo, you want to be free, or are you just chilling? Oh, you're just chilling. All right. So we got the Seattle Seahawks. Honestly, receiver does seem a little sexy here with guys like Jordan Addison available and Jackson Smith-Njigba. You can even include Josh Downs, Zay Flowers there. But I think we got the 37th pick. Maybe we roll the dice and see what's available there in terms of receiver. If that's really a option a place you want to go with. Then I thought of the defense. Jordan Brooks, listen, he's probably going to be out at the beginning of the year because of the injury, but they didn't have much success at linebacker outside of him. So we're going to go with linebacker here. This is going to be where I take a linebacker. I'm going to go with Trenton Simpson. I think this dude's just phenomenal in space. He's a guy that's shown the ability to blitz the A gaps, B gaps. He could even do it off the edge. Again, just so great out in space. So we're going to go with him there and then see what happens at pick 37. All right. We got the Los Angeles Superchargers. This is where I'm actually just going to pull the trigger on Bijan Robinson. Listen, there's going to be a lot of speedy threats at receiver on day 2. So let's just swing the bat there. Instead, this is just kind of some foresight, like pairing him up with Austin Eckler year 1. That's just a sick running back committee. But then when Austin Eckler becomes a free agent after the 2023 season, you don't have to assign him to a long-term deal. You already have another running back now in place, and you won't have to worry about it. So we're going with Bijan. Baltimore Ravens. I was thinking about corner here. There's a couple of guys, but I was like, you know what? Let's just go ahead, grab that receiver that's going to be a good run blocker, that can really create after the catch. And again, if this is a position you really want to hit on, then I mean, again, there's going to be a bevy of speed options available on day 2. So we're going to go ahead with Jackson Smith-Njigba to the Baltimore Ravens. All right, the Minnesota Vikings. This is where the fall stops for Brian Branch. I think it's just especially now that with Brian Flores into, this is a cat that I think would play perfectly in a Flores scheme. He's so good around the line of scrimmage. Get Jadon Sullivan out of here. He's a fine dime package guy, but if we're gonna get a true nickel corner or a guy that can really play in the box, be that physical presence, very sure tackler, that's Brian Branch. Again, what about receiver? We'll look at it on day 2 if you really want to replace Adam Thielen. Jags fans hate this pick, but it's just such good value at this point. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go Michael Mayer. Even if they bring back Evan Ingram, Michael Mayer is just very different in terms of what just because you bring in Mayer doesn't mean you can't have Ingram on the field at the same time. You could have him out there at as a big slot. You could run a lot of 2 tight end packages if you like, but Michael Mayer, man, he brings that blocking ability. He's a more sure-handed receiving threat than Evan Ingram. So yeah, we're gonna go with him there. It just seems like the best player on the board, and it makes sense. It just really does. All right, Jordan Addison's going to the Giants. They need receiving help. Let's get Daniel Jones some weapons. And he's just been falling here a lot. And it's like, I'm not even really trying to force it or anything. But yeah, he's here. So we're going to go ahead and take him, get that separator, a guy that can separate vertically and horizontally. On to the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to go for cornerback help. We're going to go for Keely Ringo. I'm actually a big fan of Keely Ringo. He's got great size. We know he's got exceptional speed. I think he would actually play exceptionally well in a Dan Quinn defense. So we're going to snag him there to pair up with Trevon Diggs. Remember, Anthony Brown is a free agent. All right, Buffalo Bills. I would love this to be an O'Cyrus Torrence pick, but he's not on the board. So instead, we are going to go with Antonio Johnson. I think this just makes a load of sense with all the questions at safety right now. Poyer, I believe, is a free agent after this year. Then Micah Hyde will be a free agent after 2023. You really don't know what's going to happen with the DeMar Hamlin. Will he be able to play again? So getting more depth at safety is huge. Antonio Johnson provides a bit of versatility too, where he can also be a big slot, come down in the box, but I think he'd be a good fit for this defense. All right, we got Cincinnati Bengals. We're addressing the offensive line. You bet your sweet cheeks we're going to take Anton Harrison. Listen, Leo Collins, he got hurt. He's likely not going to be able to start the season, but even then, he wasn't that great this season. Not gonna lie, Jonah Williams, he's fine, but that's about it. I figure you could upgrade off of that. Jackson Carman had that really good game against the Bills, but like, you just need to keep adding depth to that position. As we saw in the conference championship, that offensive line just let the Bengals down. All right, on to the New Orleans Saints, and this one I'm actually gonna go with Keon White. Where are you at? you're probably here. There you are, Keon White. Themes with what was it? Peyton Turner. There we go. He hasn't really seen the field a ton, nor has he been productive. We saw the pass rush really take a step down. Marcus Davenport's a free agent. Cam Jordan had his worst season since his rookie year last year. So adding more pass rush goes a long way. So we're gonna grab Keon White, who had a very solid Senior Bowl week. And then the Kansas City Chiefs. This is where we're not paying Orlando Jones, so we're gonna bring in DeJuan Jones to come help out that offensive line. Even if they bring back Orlando Jones, you could put DeJuan Jones at right tackle, because Wiley is Wiley. He wasn't that great this season. All right, and then finally we get to the Philadelphia Eagles, and we're gonna get that penetrator to pair up with Jordan Davis for the future of the defensive interior position, with that being Kalijah Cansey. A bit undersized. What really separates him is he is produced, but he's produced in the B gap over the course of his career there for Pittsburgh. So opposed to, like, you look at maybe like Tully Piloto, who's produced, but he's been doing it coming off of the edge. So in terms of like having to project, you don't have to project that much for Cansey. You're hoping that he can win despite his limitations in length and size. And I mean, to be fair, man, those stouter defensive linemen, man, they're tough. They're tough for guards and centers to play, man. They just naturally get leverage. So we're gonna go with him here. And now we're gonna start the second round, and for the Steelers, we went Darnell Wright and with the first pick. Now we're gonna address the corner position because Cameron Sutton is a free agent, and I think a really good fit is Tyreek Stevenson. He had a very good Senior Bowl week in general, and he's got great length. He's got good size. He showed the ability to be just very sticky in coverage. He brings return ability as well, so he is the first pick of the second round. Houston Texans. You were gonna keep addressing the offense. Listen, D'Amico Ryan said we need more than just a superstar quarterback. We need a superstar offensive line. We need a superstar playmakers. So we're gonna get him that superstar offensive line, and we're gonna grab John Michael Schmitz, who had an exceptionally good Senior Bowl week, had an exceptionally great career there at Minnesota. You can start him immediately, and that center position is in dire need. And now it feels like you are on the verge of completing that offensive line. That's right. We went offense all three picks for the Houston Texans, and I love it. Okay, so got the Arizona Cardinals. Did they just hire a DC recently? I don't think so. They haven't really made head coach and hiring yet, have they? Here we go. Yeah, they're still in thick things of hiring a coach, let alone a coaching staff. Regardless, you need to address the corner position. I think the best corner on the board right now is actually Emmanuel Forbes. It's close between him and Cam Smith, but I really like Forbes. He's that playmaker out there. He's shown a good willingness to play run defense as well. So we're going with Forbes. Okay, we got the Colts. We grabbed Stroud. Let's get Stroud a receiver, because I think Paris Campbell's a free agent. So let's get that slick speedster, a guy that can separate at all levels of the field, in Zay Flowers. Absolutely shined at the Shrine Bowl, probably a first rounder, but good players slip. I'm sold on him at this point. His 2022 tape was really, really good. I felt his 2021 tape, a lot of his stuff was schemed up, but this year, I think he did a good job of breaking out. So now you're moving forward with Michael Pittman. You got Alec Pierce there, and you bring in Zay Flowers, and suddenly you've given CJ Stroud a very good receiving core. Okay, offensive line. I didn't love the offensive line picks here for the Rams. As you can tell, a lot of these guys just came like flying off the board. And I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of looking at tackle. So instead, we're gonna go with the edge, and I'm gonna go with the guy that really impressed at the Senior Bowl. In Will McDonald had a farm and he sacked it. That's what happened to that farm. He sacked that farm. So we're gonna grab a pass rusher. Let's be honest, man. Aaron Donald's literally been like kind of the only source of pass rush for that team, and then he was banged up, and I mean a lot of that Rams team was banged up last year. So we're just grabbing good value here as well. Seattle Seahawks. Now I'm gonna go ahead and address receiver, get them a guy that can play inside, play outside. So I think he would meld. He would do well with Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, a guy that I'm pretty high on, in Josh Downs. So I like that. Could also be an eventual replacement for Tyler Lockett in the future. Not necessarily, you don't have to, but if you feel like you don't want to pay him anymore, I get that. So feel really good about those Seattle picks there. All right, we got the Las Vegas Rams. We took Will Levis in the first. Cam Smith's kind of slide in here. We know they need cornerback help. Rocky Sin is a free agent, so we're going to go ahead and snag Cam Smith. That's really good value. Okay, we got the Carolina Panthers, and I kind of want to just draft talent, and they brought in Evero, as their DC, and I think he would love a guy like Nolan Smith, who really just kind of falls here because he's not going to be able to really participate in the offseason draft process. At least I don't think he'll be able to participate in a pro day or a combine because of the torn pectoral. But we know, despite being an undersized pass rusher, he's a guy that is got after the quarterback last year at a 25% win rate, and he was actually a very good run defender as well. So we're gonna go ahead, just draft a good player in Nolan Smith. All right, New Orleans Saints. This one makes sense to me because I don't think Alvin Kamara is long for the next year for the Saints. I think somehow they're going to move on from him, so I'm going to snag Jahmyr Gibbs there for the Saints, so he'll be your future Kamara moving forward. All right, man. I actually kind of like what I did here with the Tennessee Titans as I couldn't really sell myself on what specifically. I looked at some of the receivers and I was just like, not really in love with the receiver pick here. I was like, screw it, man. Let's literally just address the left side of the line, bring back Nate Davis. So we're going to go ahead with a guy that really improved his stock this week in Steve Avila at a TCU. He literally does what I think the Titans are looking for. So now your offensive line looks very good with Paris Johnson, Steve Avila, Ben Jones, Nate Davis, and oh my gosh, what was the Ohio State guy they took last year? Nicholas Petit-Frere. There we go. Nailed it. Ha! All right, on to the Cleveland Browns, and I'm just getting them that space eater in the middle to help out with the run game. I'm going to grab Siaki Ika here. The production wasn't as good as it was in 2021, but he moves exceptionally well for a guy that's 350. All right, we got the New York Jets. This is just a favorite pick of mine in the second round for the Jets, and that's grabbing a safety in Jamie Robinson. He had a very good Senior Bowl, so I just really like that pick as a fit for Saleh's defense. And then the Atlanta Falcons. And man, let me tell you, the creative juices really got going here. And I was like, you know what? Let's get a super fair evaluation of Desmond Ridder. And how are we going to do that? We're going to get him more weapons. And I love the idea of Kyle Pitts, Drake London, and Tank freaking Dell. Grab that speed, that kills. Just get weapons for Desmond Ridder so you can get a very fair evaluation of him next season. All right, we're on to the Green Bay Packers, and we took Lucas Van Ness, and I think we're actually still going to continue to address the defense. Adrian Amos is a free agent. Darnell Savage dealt with being he was like bench, then brought back into the rotation there as like safety in the slot. So we're just going to go ahead and address the safety position, and I think Sidney Brown gained a lot of ground when it came to the safety group. Like after like Jamie Robinson, for me it was kind of a drop off, but like Sidney Brown, I thought closed that gap. He looked phenomenal. He looked great. He would be a good addition here for the Packers. All right, we got the New England Patriots, and you know what? Good players just fall in the draft, and there is a good player here in Drew Sanders. I don't know, just didn't seem there was a right fit here or there. And then I get to this Patriots pick, and I was like, you know what, man? I like this. A guy that brings some good pass rushing upside. He's got the length. He's going to be able to clog passing lanes. Oh, what he can do as a blitzer, though, is just so enticing. He's going to test out extremely well. So we're grabbing Drew Sanders for the Patriots. The Washington Commanders. I'm actually going to address the offense here. I'm actually a big fan of Dalton Kincaid. The tight end position was a little beat up last year, but they don't really have any stars there. Dalton Kincaid, I think, is the best receiving tight end in this class, so we're going to grab him and hopefully get a good look at Sam Howell. Is he the future? All right, the Detroit Lions, and fun fact, we're about to see tight end. Let's go back to back here, because I think freaking Dan Campbell is going to look at this, be like, I love a player like Darnell Washington. Ben Johnson's going to look at this like, I could work with that. He becomes an extra blocker there for the Detroit Lions. But on top of that, like, he moves exceptionally well for his size. Yes, he's not like the most dynamic player, at least laterally, but like, you could draw some stuff up, whether it's him catching it out in the flats and shooting up the sidelines or cutting it up the seams. He has such a huge catch radius. He is a very quarterback friendly. He has that quarterback friendly catch radius, like legit garage door. It's like throwing a football into a garage door. That's Darnell Washington. So I thought this could be a very good pick, especially as a blocking tight end. They have James Mitchell there as well, who I think is, he's a bit of a dog when it comes to blocking, but he's much better as a receiver. Receiving tight end, I should say that. The Seattle Seahawks, the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we went Darnell Wright. We went with Tyreek Stevenson, and I'm actually gonna go linebacker here. I'm gonna go with Deion Henley. I thought he looked great at the Senior Bowl. He moves so freaking well. Former receiver. He's got the ball skills, and there was like a blitz and upside that no one, like Nevada, didn't really tap into it until late, and then Washington State did it early in the season, and then kind of reeled back on it. But he's just going to be so good in coverage. This is what they probably wanted out of Devin Bush. Devin Bush. Okay. Phew. Thought I got the name wrong, so I'm going to go with Henley here. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I'm just going to go ahead and get that corner. I think the corner talent on day 2 is really good. And this is a guy that's moving up a lot of people's boards. I'm kind of slow to it. I get it. He's a great athlete. He's very sticky in coverage. I think he's overtly physical. I think he was flagged 8 times this past year, but probably could have been flagged a bit more. There are some cases where I felt he quit on plays, but that could be me just nitpicking. If he ends up testing out well, I'm probably going to shoot him up my board too to like a fringe first rounder. But I'm going to go ahead and grab Deontay Banks. Really showed good ball skills this year as well. All right, on to the Miami Dolphins, and I want offensive line. I really do. I just don't think there isn't a tackle I want here. That's the problem. Like, I could go like Cody Mock, but I'm looking for a tackle. I think Mock's going to end up playing in the interior in the NFL. So I was like, what else could I do here? And Mike Gesicki is a free agent. And Luke Musgrave, he looked good at the Senior Bowl during the practices. He's got good receiving upside. He's a work in progress as a blocker, but he's got a good build. So I'm gonna go ahead and snag him here for the Dolphins. Fins up, baby. Fins up. All right, so we grabbed Miles Murphy, Trenton Simpson, Josh Downs, full ACC tear here for the Seattle Seahawks, but no more. I think a really good fit is Keanu Benton out of Wisconsin. He was used a lot as a nose tackle there at Wisconsin, and was more so a run defender first. But he did show good pass rush and upside, and when we got to see him move to like the B gap and actually work against guards, like he really showcased what he could do as a pass rusher at the Senior Bowl practices. So he gives you good versatility. He's a guy that's going to play the run exceptionally well. So I think that's just another good addition for the Seattle defense there. All right, on to the Chicago Bears, and this is where I'm going to grab a receiver. Kayshon Boutte. Listen, Boutte is going to... There's going to be questions about his character. Lot of stuff there where it's like, I don't know, you got the sex scandal, I guess, potentially. I don't know. I haven't really looked into it, but I've heard there's a lot of like, that might be a big nothing burger. But you also had the kind of the debacle early in the year with Brian Kelly, where he was like, where it seemed like he was just going to quit on the team. He was going to go ahead, either transfer or declare for the draft. He returns to the team, but he's not nearly as productive. Keep in mind, this is a guy that was known for his explosiveness. Didn't look that explosive this year, but he was coming off 2 ankle surgeries in the off season. So if he tests out well, then we're going to see his stock go up considerably. So I think it's good value for the Bears. All right, Gojo, I'll let you free. Take care, bud. Okay, who are we on to next? The Chargers. And look at that. You know, that speedy vertical threat that I was like, you could probably get some good guys in day 2. Jalen Hyatt is exactly that. And I actually feel a lot better about taking him in a range like this, opposed, like, I'm not big on him in the first round. Even here, it's like, it's not too early. I kind of like him more as like a mid-day 2 guy, so it's kind of the right range for him, in my opinion. All right, so thus far for Detroit, we went Devon Witherspoon, Brian Brazee, and Darnell Washington. So what is next for the Lions? I think we're gonna go linebacker. I'm gonna draft the son of Dan Campbell. Not really. Jack Campbell. Just a very solid linebacker, having him paired up with Malcolm Rodriguez, and I think the defense is just looking infinitely better. All right, Jacksonville Jaguars. Now listen, they have a guard problem. I mean, Brandon Sheriff will be back, but hopefully you're hoping his play kind of like ascends back to what it once was. We got the other spot, like Ben Bartz was kind of like, they got hurt. Tyler Shantley's more of a reserve. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a guy who has actually a bit of versatility again, like in Cody Mock. Like, I think Cody Mock, I think he probably profiles best as a guard, but he can play center and shoot. You could even give him a shot at tackle if you're not feeling good about Walker Little or Cam Robinson, or if injuries occur. So he brings a little bit of versatility. On to the New York Giants, and there's a lot of good corners on day 2, and I'm going to go with, I think Eli Ricks is just a really good fit for Wink Martindale's defense there, so we're going to grab him here. Guy that dealt with a bit of injuries at the beginning of the year at Alabama, also trying to get integrated to the defense. Ended up starting at the second half part of the season against Mississippi State, had a banger. Then he had like a okay-ish game against LSU. Did have a few penalties in that game, but like, I thought he had a solid second half of the year. I don't think it's enough to really move up his stock from anywhere to like a fringe day 1, unless he tests out exceptionally well. But I think it's a good range for him. All right, we got the Dallas Cowboys, And they need some meat in the middle. And this is actually where we're going to take Mozzie Smith. Mozzie Smith, a little lower on my board just because of the, like, he's, until I see, like, he was number 1 on Bruce Feldman's Freaks list. Until I see him test out the way everyone says he's going to test out. And even then, it's like, I'm hesitant because he just hasn't been that productive over the course of his career. But he is a big boy that can move exceptionally well, and you know what, he's gonna at the very least be a very good run defender, so we're gonna snag him there with good upside. All right, we got the Buffalo Bills, and this is where I'm gonna address the offensive interior with a guy I'm really high on. Sucked that he couldn't go to that. I think he was nursing an injury, so he couldn't attend the Senior Bowl, but I love Andrew Voorhees. The offensive line, I think, really let Buffalo down this season, so addressing it should be a big priority. The Cincinnati Bengals, man, this was a toughie, but I want to highlight a guy that I think was exceptionally good. Where you at? And Adetomiwa Adebawore. I think he's going to be in this mid-day 2 mix. A bit of an undersized interior player, but he's got 34-inch arms. He was a monster in the pass rush and drills. He showed that at Northwestern. The biggest question was, how will he handle run fits? And you know what? It looked like he belonged. So they tried to get this with like Zachary Carter. So I think, hey, bring in that competition. All right, who is this? The Carolina Panthers. Oh my, what are we going to do for the Panthers? So Panther fans might not like this because the value, you know, it's a devalued position. But Dante Foreman is a free agent. Instead of bringing him back, just grab Zach Charbonnet. Get that bang, get that thunder, and you got the you got lightning and like Chubba Hubba. I said Chubba Hubba. Chubba Hubba Bubba Hubbard. So Zach Charbonnet, especially knowing you're not gonna have like you're probably gonna have like Sam Darnold, maybe Derek Carr. It's not gonna be Anthony Richardson year 1. So having a good running backs and ability to run the football, you got honestly an offensive line that performed much better this season. So if you still want to be able to run the football, I think Zach Charbonnet is a great way to start. Okay, we got the Kansas City Chiefs here, and I'm going to just go ahead and take best player available. It doesn't... yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take best player available, and I'm going to grab... Not exactly best player available. Best player available for me probably would be B.J. Ojulari. Like, it's kind of wild that he falls to here. But Isaiah Foskey, I think, is more of a... Is he? Yeah, no, he's definitely more of a fit for Steve Spagnuolo's scheme. He's a very high floor individual. Great length. Man, B.J. Ojulari is such a finesse pass rusher. I think I'm gonna go with Foskey. Ha! All right, we have the Eagles here. B.J. Ojulari, I feel like that's more of he would be looked at. He's just not. I don't think he's a good scheme fit for the Eagles. You'd be playing him in like a Hassan Reddick role, and you already have Hassan Reddick, so. But I do think they could stick with the trenches and go with a guy like Zach Harrison, who's going to test out very explosive, great length. It looked like he was starting to put it all together this season. We know this guy with a ton of potential. So we're going to go ahead and snag him here. And now looking here for the Chicago Bears, we got Jalen Carter. We got Kayshon Boutte. I think I'm going back to the SEC, not just the SEC. I'm going to go back to LSU. I'm going to take B.J. Ojulari and just keep addressing the pass rush, baby. And there we go. We're going to go ahead and save that. And that's the mock. Look at that face. Look at that face. So that's the mock draft. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. I know there's going to be like, oh, I can't believe this player wasn't drafted in the first 2 rounds. Good players fall. Listen, good players fall. I tried to do a lot of good scheme fits, and I think I did a good job of that. Like I said, man, Brian Branch, man, that's good value, man. He's a tough one to pick where to go. Like, I know a lot of Green Bay fans would love him here. I just don't think Joe Barry would know how to use him. Bijan, the eternal question, where will Bijan Robinson go? But yeah, no, I think I did a good job also while highlighting a lot of guys that really did well at the Senior Bowl. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. That's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing, and as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.